you have ever wondered how those giant ball gowns with seemingly gravity-defying fullness and movement take shape, then you should know that what you are seeing is the result of a crinoline constructed undergarment or finish. So what exactly is crinoline? Well, for starters, it goes by many different names. Most commonly used today is horsehair braid, which I use routinely in my own design. Here's one type of crinoline that it's used. I use this. It comes in a bolt form. It's a lot stiffer and harder than normal tulle. It's even a little bit scratchy, but it really creates like a firm fullness to a skirt more than you would get with just adding the horsehair braid at the very edge of it. So I've used this in many of my designs. Here you have what we commonly use today, and that's just this horsehair braid. This is a finer horsehair braid. It's a lot softer and it comes with that detail at the top. It's even used in hat making sometimes, but it's a lot softer, a lot more flexible than some other types of crinoline, and I use this to create a hem on my dresses. I've used it in this design specifically. I use the bolt form crinoline as well as the horsehair braid to get that fullness of that skirt, among other things. The horsehair braid does come in different colors. It also comes in different sizes. I have here about a 1-inch strip of crinoline that can be used to line garments that you don't want that full for the hem. And then I have what we also use is this more plastic type of horsehair braid or crinoline, and I use it when I want just a stiffer shape to the bottom of my head, not a soft hem, but just a really sturdy hem that almost stands up on its own. And the differences you'll see between the two is one is a little softer and that it's a lot more flexible versus the other one, which kind of snaps back really quickly. The new crinoline frame provided relief from wearing multi-layered petticoats, but its buoyancy meant that long cotton drawers were now essential under linens. Citing Britannica, crinoline, originally a petticoat, please be sure to check out my video on petticoats. It was made of horsehair fabric made popular in the 1840s that took its name from the French word crin, as in horsehair. In 1856, horsehair and whalebone were replaced by a light frame of metal spring hoops. These were used to create volume underneath the hoop skirts. The wide, ball-shaped crinoline was much lighter than the previous fashion of multiple petticoats. Like many fashion mainstays, crinoline was widely used during the 19th century as a supportive understructure of a woman's dress. It has a cage-like appearance, sort of like a support beams for structures. What are they made from? They were made from a variety of materials including whalebone and gutta percha cane, which is used more in dentistry now than in dressmaking. At a time, even inflatable rubber was used to create these crinoline cages. However, most popular during that time was the steel hoop crinoline. Today's crinoline is usually made from plastic materials. Beautiful but deadly. Although these additions were designed to assist women in creating their desired looks, the crinoline skirt was noted for having contributed to the deaths of hundreds, maybe even thousands of women, who lost their lives due to the structure catching fire. In the picture titled, Fire, the artist illustrates some of the perils women face when wearing these pieces in the event of fire. The title of the piece, Horrors of Crinoline and the Destruction of Human Life, speaks for itself. Fortunately now, we don't have to face those sort of perils when we decide to wear these pieces. Here I have a custom crinoline cage that I created for one of my designs just to give her a lot more fullness in the hip and the waist area. And here you'll see just what that came out to look like with the skirt. So you'll see around the bodice area it cinches in a little bit more and it creates a nice fullness that I could not achieve until I created the cage that goes inside of it. And I use boning as well as horsehair braid for that. Here you'll see how these designs are created and some of the structures that are needed to create the fullness. You'll notice them using the crinoline fabric that I talked about, horsehair braid, and also boning a lot of times is used to create these solid structures. The godfather of these structured gowns is none other than Charles James. Some of his most famous designs include the Clover gown. As you can see inside all the different pieces that are created to give the design this sort of very interesting architectural structural piece, that he used boning, that he used crinoline, and he added all these pieces together to create this very unique shape that the dress had, as well as a number of his other designs. They were very much structured in a way that the dress really spoke for itself. In the way that you can see, it almost looked like a structure, a piece of art, a sculpture that he created using crinoline. So it can also show the diversity that crinoline gives you with these dresses, that you don't just have to go with the standard ball gown. Very popular now is this sort of cone shape that's sort of come back to life, which sort of pays homage to the Charles James aesthetic. It's very clear that Charles James inspired designers today, as if you've seen any of Zac Posen's work recently, you can see that he also pays homage to this aesthetic, because a lot of his dresses in the last few years have had this sort of structure where he uses a lot of the horsehair braid, the crinoline, to create these very structured gowns. So you can see how he too was presumably inspired by the uses of crinoline and how they can be used as a part of the design and not just support for the dress. Let's look at some more modern day crinoline cages. Crinoline can also be used as a design itself, not just the internal structure of the dress, but the actual feature of the dress, as you see with some of these pieces. How do you like to see the crinoline used? As a dress design or as the dress structure? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching. Please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, make like a lady.